Dang, what is that noise? Well, I don't know what to do because no one's here. So maybe I'll try and play a little video. See if I can pull that off.
Elon Musk has now bought the video sharing platform of YouTube. Why exactly has Elon Musk bought YouTube, and what are the major changes that he will introduce on the social media site? Join me today in this video as we explore how Elon has just bought YouTube. Elon Musk started showing interest in YouTube late last year when he made a tweet suggesting that he wanted to quit his work so that he can become a full-time influencer. His tweet reads, "Thinking of quitting my jobs and becoming an influencer full-time. What do you think?" But it is one of the responses to Musk's tweet that confirmed that he was into the video sharing site. Mr. Beast, who is a successful American YouTube personality, replied to Elon Musk's tweet saying, "I'll coach you on how to get YouTube views." There is no doubt that Elon Musk will attract a number of views as a YouTube personality. Musk's fame in the social media industry is unrivaled. On Twitter, for example, he has over 90 million followers. But what is more interesting is that he gained 8 million viewers in less than 2 weeks, after he took the American microblogging site private for $44 billion. A single tweet from the tech billionaire is enough to make the prices of cryptocurrencies fluctuate. Bitcoin and Dogecoin prices have greatly been affected in the past when the tech icon said that the two digital currencies will be used in purchasing Tesla products. It is important to note that the Tesla billionaire has a long and rich history with YouTube that stretches to the time it was started in 2005. YouTube was founded by Steve Chen, Chad Hurley, and Jawed Karim. Just like Musk, the three YouTube co-founders were employees of PayPal and only left when the company was bought by eBay. It is interesting to note that Musk was a co-founder of PayPal. In March 2000, Elon Musk's X.com merged with competitor Confinity Incorporated, a software company based in Silicon Valley, to form PayPal. Musk was attracted to Confinity because of its easy payment system. eBay bought PayPal for US $1.5 billion in 2002. Elon Musk was the greatest beneficiary of the PayPal purchase, as he was the largest shareholder with 11.72% of the shares, and he ended up receiving $175.8 million after the sale. After leaving PayPal, Musk went ahead to start his space company SpaceX and his EV company Tesla. As earlier mentioned, Steve Chen, Chad Hurley, and Jawed Karim also founded YouTube after leaving PayPal. As the world's richest man, Elon Musk has seen that it is not enough for him to be just an influencer on the free video sharing platform. Well, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, in the first week of May 2022, Elon Musk had a net worth of around $258 billion. This money is more than enough for buying YouTube, as the social media platform is currently valued at $160 billion. The tech billionaire has made a decision to buy YouTube days after he bought Twitter. Elon is passionate about the social media industry, which he wants to improve for the sake of humanity. You could be wondering what has driven the Tesla billionaire to buy YouTube. Here's the quick answer. Musk's main objective in YouTube is for him to fix some of the problems that the social media site is facing. Top on the tech icons list is to improve on the YouTube algorithms that have more often than not promoted conspiracy theories and false information. It is critical for all the news and information that is shared on YouTube to be authenticated, as it reaches a very large audience. YouTube is one of the leading social media platforms, as it has 122 million active users on a daily basis. The users watch 1 billion hours of content every day. It is quite unfortunate that at times YouTube algorithms promote content that has violence and some that have sexually suggestive content. More often than not, YouTube has failed to detect sexual content that is targeting minors, which makes them very vulnerable. The Tesla billionaire will also be of great help to the many online creators by eliminating policies that make it hard for the smaller YouTubers to make progress on the social media platform. Musk will also reintroduce the dislike feature on YouTube. The dislike tab is very important as it will help you as a viewer to know which videos that you should not even waste your time watching. Most of the videos that had a dislike button were unworthy and inaccurate. After testing earlier in 2021, YouTube removed public display of dislike counts on videos in November 2021. Internal research that found users often used the dislike feature as a form of cyberbullying and brigading. YouTube co-founder Jawed Karim referred to the update as a stupid idea as it was interfering with the recommendations that the masses were making. When Musk reintroduces the dislike feature, it will be very easy to identify the unhelpful and clickbait videos. The tech billionaire will also change the social media platform by improving on the app that is known as YouTube for Kids. The app creates a platform where only content that is helpful to the children is shared. What will even make it super exciting is that Musk will ensure that all the content is categorized according to age for better utility. For example, content that is appropriate for a 14-year-old child would be categorized differently with content that is appropriate for a 6-year-old child. The app will also have parental control features that will help the parents to limit and monitor what their children can watch. It is important for parents to monitor what their children do online, as some of the content that is placed there is not helpful to the child. With the parental control features, a parent can limit the screen time of the kids. This is extremely helpful as some kids may be addicted to the screen, which will hinder the holistic development of the child. It is a general observation that kids who spend most of their time in front of a screen have very little time for exercise, and as a result, they have high chances of being obese. This is not healthy for the child as it may lead to other medical complications such as high blood pressure. The Tesla CEO is also going to revolutionize YouTube by improving the YouTube gaming app. You can be pretty sure that Elon Musk will add some exciting games to YouTube, as he is not only a fan of computer games but also has a rich experience in developing computer games. At the age of 12, when Elon was just a boy, he developed a gaming software that is known as Blastar, which offered $500 to Publication PC and Office Technology magazine. The money was paid through to his mother's account as he did not have a bank account given that he was just a minor. What is mind-blowing about the game is that it was dealing with space fighting. There is every possibility that Musk's love of space books and space games as a child helped to greatly develop his passion for space and rocket technology. Today, Elon Musk is the owner of SpaceX, which is the most successful space company in the world. The YouTube gaming app would be competing against Amazon's Twitch. The world's richest man will also ensure that YouTube competes favorably with its greatest competitor, TikTok, which is launched 10 years after YouTube. TikTok, known in China as Douyin, is a video-focused social networking service owned by Chinese company ByteDance Ltd. It hosts a variety of short-form user videos from genres like pranks, stunts, tricks, jokes, dance, and entertainment with durations from 15 seconds to 10 minutes. Elon will greatly improve YouTube Shorts, which is a platform that is used for sharing short videos, just like TikTok. The Tesla CEO will also be increasing the revenue of TikTok users so that he can attract more content creators on board. Most of the people and organizations whose YouTube channels were wrongfully pulled down can now have a sigh of relief after Musk bought YouTube, as he will be reinstating them on the social media site. One of the greatest beneficiaries whose account will be reinstated is former US President Donald Trump, whose account was deactivated in his final days of office. Trump's account was blocked after his supporters attacked the U.S. Capitol on the 6th of January 2021. Moreover, the tech icon will also be reaching out to countries that have blocked YouTube so that they can unblock it. YouTube will definitely be your social media site of choice after Musk makes improvements on the platform. Anyways, guys, if you want to see more interesting videos, click the video right above. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications enabled so that you don't miss out on the latest Elon Musk news. Elon Musk and Amber
Hey there. Well, maybe a stream tonight was not a good idea. I just figured because it was the first, hey there, good looking. How's it going? It's just you and me, babe. There's the link, mister, if you want to come up. Hey there, heck gal, how's it going? Bouncing between here and Bonnie's. Oh, okay. Yep. I just figured I was awake for the first time in probably 4 days at this time. And I managed to stay awake for the rally too. That was wild because I slept through the last one. Just too exhausted. Oh, did she? Well, I'm glad you decided to join. And the link is there if anybody wants to come up and chat about what's been going on for the last few days, because I have no clue. I did get to see the rally tonight, and that was awesome because I slept through the last one. Oh, every moment that I'm awake, I'm sorting, packing, donating, listing stuff to sell. How are you doing? How are you doing? How's things over in Michigan? My next door neighbor. Won't you be my neighbor? Oh, yeah, that's my phone. That was a message. Um, yeah, I and see, I slept through the last rally, and the rally before that, I woke up near the end of it. Yeah, so I got someone coming to pick up some stuff tomorrow morning, and I got someone coming to pick up some stuff. The elected servants are learning their place. I love hearing how your day goes. And I love seeing your t-shirt of the day too. Um yeah, the rally before the last one, I woke up in near the end of it, so I didn't get any comms off of that one. I got 2 pages off of this one, but I need someone to help me break it down because I'm just too exhausted to do it by myself. But I did get 2 pages. So depending on how things go tomorrow with people coming and picking stuff up, the more stuff that's picked up and gone, the better. Been getting storage closets empty so that they can be sold, and bookcases and dressers, as much as I can get out of here as fast as I can. Oh, you guys, somebody should come up and talk with me. I don't have a choice, Hick Gal. Come June 1st, I have no place to live. So I have to get rid of everything that's not necessary. It's the way it bounces. I got a trailer my utility trailer were filling with all the scrap metal. Okie dokie, devil dog. Anybody else wants to come up and chat, you're more than welcome. The link is there. If you don't see the link, ask me and I'll drop it. Chuck! Dude, are you feeling better? I saw you over at Roberts. I managed to make it to Roberts today. That was amazing that I was awake for that. It's not that I sleep that much, it's just that between healing or trying to heal and between that and every waking minute that I'm up, I'm trying to pack stuff. Oh, you're hungover? Yeah, I didn't catch it all, but I did get that you weren't feeling too hot when you were over at Roberts. The link's there, mister, if you want to come up. I don't care if you're hungover. We don't censor here. I'll worry about that after, I guess. As long as I can get my stuff out of here and get it into storage, I'll figure something out. I'll bounce back. God's got it. I put it in his hands. I'm doing everything that I can possibly do to keep moving forward. And do what I think he wants me to do. And I'm putting my best effort into it, and I'm putting the rest at his feet and trusting him. Chuck. Okay, dude. Because I need help. Well, I probably could get one later. Right now, I just have to minimize and do the best that I can, I guess. As I'm pretty sure I trust God. He's the reason for my 3 miracles. I swear it. I've told my kids that since they were born. He's been there for me pretty much since I can remember him coming into my life. And before that, there was some bad stuff happened. But he's had my back and tried to steer me in the right direction, so we lived in a can when I was little till floods receded and we could get back in our home. Yeah. You do what you gotta do, right? Everybody says, "Oh, you're still healing from cancer." I said, "Yeah, and God's got that too. He's helping. He's gonna look after when everything gets turned around, then everybody's gonna have what they're supposed to have had. 4 adults and me." Yep. That's like I said, I've managed to find a storage place. Only have one lifelong friend that's still around, still alive, and she lives up in the area that I've always wanted to live for the last 25, 30 years. No other place has felt like home other than this place. And I found storage there, so my main goal is to get my stuff off the property in time and into storage. And once that's done, then I can breathe. Then I'll find some place to stay. Even if I have to stay at like a, what do you call it, a bed and breakfast or a place, that has room and board. Even if I have to do that for a couple months while I find some place to get settled, I'll deal with it. Uh, well, she said if push comes to shove, I can go stay there as well, but she has people come, like she rents. That's how she pays her um land taxes, is she has people come and stay during the summer. And I'm good. Like she told me I could come and stay, no big deal. Just I just think I'd be able to breathe a lot better once all this nastiness is dealt with. Because being in the middle of an estate war and being turfed out unexpectedly with everything else that was going on in my life, plus everything else that's been going on for the last 2 years, it's just crazy. Like I thought about doing a stream last night, but that's as far as the thought got because I woke up 5 hours later. Exhaustion took over and said, "Nope, not tonight." Oh, that's my baby. She was my best friend. She was hit involved in a hit and run on March 28th, and they never even stopped to say they hit her. Her name was Tira. Oh, and that was another whack deal that went on in the last 5 days. I had 48, 56 hours of crazy going on because her son, who is my outdoor dog, he refuses to come in. He'll come in for a quick visit, but he don't want to stay in here. That's after 5 minutes, he's wanting to get out. But anyways, he's a big boy. He's bigger than his mom, and his mom was 135 pounds. And he has a 16 by 10 kennel that's 5.5 foot tall at the front. The back part's covered. And we've caught him several times. Hey, Kino, how's it going? We found him several times with his paws and head above the top of the kennel and starting to climb the fence with his back feet, and told him to get down. But about a week ago, 5 days ago, and we've had coyotes here just terrible for the last 4 months, maybe. And he got to, hey, Miss Lisa, how's it going, honey? Are you surviving the storms? Please tell me you're okay. I've been praying for you, girl. He decided he was going after them coyotes, and he climbed out of there and took off after them, and that was all she wrote. Hey there, mister.
What up,
How's it
lady?
going? What's up? What's on the shirt? Let me see the shirt. Didn't I start? I'd wear that. Oops, did I offend you? Hang on. I might do it again.
Yeah, there's a really good chance I will.
Yeah, right? So, what's been going on in your world for the last couple of days? Because I've been out of the loop.
Well, I'm working with 8 counties in Michigan. They're gonna be forcing the county and the cities to unincorporate and to go totally constitutional.
Right on. That's good news.
And they're putting together, in addition to each of the charters, that it recognizes the Michigan Republic and not the state of Michigan.
Hey, did you? I don't remember who said it or when it was said, or it might have just been I caught it passing when I was falling asleep again. But I thought someone said that Potato's agricultural dude was arrested.
I don't know. I
Agricultural.
don't pay attention to anything that happens in DC.
Well, they aren't in DC. Come on. We know they're not there.
Well, it doesn't matter because, the United States has no bearing on the way I deal with my life in America.
Right. I could have swore somebody said that he was arrested by the military because of all the food plants being extinguished.
I I don't know.
I don't know either, but I thought I heard it somewhere.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting to hear some truth about those food plants going on fire. I'm waiting for the first one to say it was arson.
Well, it's interesting how 2 days after 1,300 complaints were reported about General Mills because of that cereal with the little um, magical marshmallows in it, made them sick.
Yeah,
2 days after that, miraculously, their plant burns down in, was it Georgia? It was the General Mills plant. And the week before that, a potato processing plant in Idaho had a plane fly into it with a experienced UPS pilot flying the plane.
cool.
Yeah. It's amazing how they're all going up in smoke.
Yep.
Did you see Mr. T tonight? I didn't
No,
see him
I don't
last
pay any
week.
attention to him. He's become a politician.
Oh, um, I notice he's putting a lot of people out there again, giving them the opportunity to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's at least two of them that I think are going down in flames, and one of them is the man behind the curtain, Mr. Oz, and the other one that he mentioned, Woody Johnson, who's the owner of Johnson and Johnson, and he very pointedly said that his wife, Mr. Johnson's wife, is from the Ukraine.
Yep.
Interesting.
Well, not only that, in Trump's portfolio, a huge chunk of it is Johnson and Johnson.
Really?
Yeah, but
Oh.
people don't talk about the important stuff. It's just all the good that Trump's going to do because he's going to save the whole fucking world.
Well, I found it in. Well, I don't think he's going to save the world. I think he was chosen to help, but I don't think it's him.
I believe his chosen
Only
path.
God can do that.
Yeah, I believe Trump's chosen path has already been completed. He woke up America.
He certainly did.
So he can just sit back and relax now, and it's our job to finish what he started.
The problem is he can't sit back and relax until they're gone, because otherwise they'll kill him and his family. That's the way they work. Those evil turds.
Yeah, but if he just step out of the political life and just go to his retirement, and they'll just start ignoring him.
You think? Think they'd leave him
Yeah, but
alone?
he won't be able to. His ego won't let him. And doesn't that tie into one of the deadly sins? Pride.
Yep. Yep, it does. Oh no. You got tornadoes down there again, Lisa? Holy crap. You guys are just getting beat to crap down there.
Yeah, those tornadoes blow.
Like every one of these major psychotic storms, I think, has hit her. And that, something else. I can remember how to do this without kicking myself out. Somewhere. I think it's here. There it is.
No purple crayons. I'm trying to get Kevin to make me another batch of them.
I want to see them before you eat them, too.
Yeah.
We want pictures. If anybody can help Lisa out, I know she's in a desperate position, and I know, like me, well, I can't speak for Lisa, but I know that $2, $5 will help me. Prayers will help me. Sharing my link will help me. So there's Lisa's link if anybody can help her. You're welcome, hun. I just can't believe how many storms you've been like in the center bullseye. It's unbelievable. I want to hear about Chuck's hangover. I know he was saying a lot. What was that someone said at Robert's? Maybe it's like the Wizard of Oz. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Maybe he's putting that out there again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how he could stand there with a straight face and say that he supported him when there's an abundance of pictures with him with Marina Abramovich. There's an abundance of him supporting China. There's an abundance of him being involved in Huma, which is something that they always said to follow Huma. That's the Harvard University Muslim Association.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's a link for one. What, one above you, like a tornado? Is that what you're saying? Yes, a tornado. Dang. Oh no. Tell me the school was empty. Hey, shift kicker. How's it going, honey? Shifty'll know she was at Roberts. What were they saying about maybe the Mr. T and Miss Dr. Oz thing is like a don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain kind of thing. Oh, well, I'm awake, which is like a plus because most of this week it's just been packing, sorting, listing, and sleeping. Anytime that I'm awake, I'm doing that, and anytime I lay down to take a break, next thing I know, I'm waking up again. Camo! How's it going? Long time. I haven't seen you in about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. How are you doing? Yeah, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, right? Is that the saying? And he's put so many people out um, on purpose to give them a chance to either do the right thing or show their true colors. And he hinted at that quite strongly with Mitch McConnell. He endorsed Mitch McConnell. That's the only way he got in, and then Mitch McConnell turned on him. So, yeah, it screwed up Mr. T, but it also showed the country Mitch McConnell's true colors, and he's done that with a lot of people. Put them out in front and given them the chance to do the right thing.
Yeah, well, maybe part of it's because of his Chinese wife.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and see, I really think DeSantis is a good guy. But when all those pictures came out with all those representatives who had connections to the Chinese operatives, DeSantis was standing with one as well. Big smiles. So I don't know what to think about him. I'm praying that he's the good guy that he seems to be, because he's sure standing up for Florida.
Well, in my book, he still has a long way to go because early in the runny nose thing, with the strict mandates he actually signed an order to have a 72-year-old lady picked up because she refused to wear a face diaper to go into a store.
And see, I heard someone say, and I looked, and I probably because I'm too stupid to know where exactly to look, but somebody said that last May he signed a bill about mandatory, it was either mandatory pokes or mandatory face diapers. And
Mm-hmm.
I tried, but I'm not sure where to look. But somebody said it was in May of last year and that it was put through very quietly. Hi, Anna Marie. Honey, honey.
Yeah, I heard that too, but I didn't waste any time looking for it because I really don't care.
Yeah, it's just
Because,
that.
well, Title II Civil Rights Act says that they can kiss my ass. It's a public accommodation situation.
Kiss your ass.
So do whatever you
Uh,
want because I only follow laws. I don't follow mandates or statutes or acts or codes. I just follow law. And we are to obey the laws of God and ignore the laws of man. It's right in the Bible.
yeah. See what Shift Kicker said?
Oh man, I don't even know where I have that link and what computer it's on. Because that was 2 years ago. It was May or June of 2020.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to Chuck. He said, I'll be right back. That was right after he said he was hungover.
Well, I'll be
There's the
back
link.
in a couple minutes. I'm gonna step outside, have a cigarette.
Alrighty. There's the link, guys, if you want to come up. Anna Marie, Shift Kicker, Camo. You're all welcome up to discuss things. Yeah, I was like blown away that I was able to stay awake to see the rally because I missed the last one completely, and the one before that I only caught the tail end of. And I got 2 pages of stuff. I just need someone to help me break it down because my brain isn't functioning properly right now. I was hoping that somebody knew how many times he said broken crow. Because I got that term, but I know he said it more than once. I'm just not sure how many times. I'm eating and Vicky's on the phone, but I'll come up in a sec. Okay, what are you eating? We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Hi, Vicky. He said it 4 times. Broken crow. Because I'll add that to my. I got the statement down. I just didn't know how many times he said it. Because I do all that in my calculations. You just plugged your phone in. Oh, it'll overheat if you come up. Alrighty. Was it Broken Crow that he said 4 times, Shift Kicker? Because I know he said May 17th 4 times. Yeah, Broken Crow 4 times. Okay. I'll write that down in my book. Thank you, honey. I appreciate it. And I'm sending prayers out to our brother remote there. I feel so bad for him. Yeah, Camo, come on up here. Haven't heard from you in like 2 weeks. We likes your opinions too. Oh, you got to see how many times he said Dr. Oz or Oz, Shift Kicker. It's mind blowing. When I get someone to help me with the calculations. Oh, somebody sent him a letter. And I guess the letter of intention, or the intention of the letter was okay, I think. But it was covered in some kind of scent, which made him really sick. And he's been struggling ever since he opened it. He's aired out his house, he's taken a shower, he's really sick. So I've said a couple prayers for him, and we'll say another one for him tonight before we shut down. Yes, he said it was dripping out, and then he said now it's pouring out 2 times. Okay, I will add that to the list too. Yeah, I felt really bad. He was really sick. He did not look well. when he did a short video about it, about the letter. It was only like a 4-minute video. Yeah, right? And someone said over at Robert's, because I was able to catch Robert's show today, which was like, I haven't been able to catch barely anybody's. Couple of nights I've been able to catch Bonnie's, but I was too exhausted to even participate. But he said that so many times. Yeah, he did like a 4-minute video showing the letter and opening it, and he got really sick from whatever the scent was that was on it. Okay, but we miss you, Camo. I want to hear what Chuck's eating. Some food comms would go real good right about now. There you go. What did everybody have for supper? Tell me what you had for supper. Well, and see, that's the thing. It was anonymous. It was to my neighbor. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, it wasn't addressed to his name. It was addressed to my neighbor. Oh, pulled pork and French fries and onion rings. Oh, yum. Oh, I'd have to skip the baked beans. They don't agree with my IBS, but oh, barbecued pulled pork. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Oh, he's back. The man.
Oh,
He's back.
where?
We're doing food comms right now. I'm asking what everybody had for supper.
Well, I finished up my snapping turtle with what do you call it? Taters and carrots.
Okay, well, I like the potatoes and carrots.
You ever have snapping turtle?
I had the unfortunate displeasure of tasting snapping turtle, muskrat, and a bunch of other shit that lives in ditches and stinks.
Okay, the first problem with the snapping turtle is they didn't take 2 weeks to purge it before they killed it.
Oh, probably not.
Yeah, because I got these rather large little kid pools, and whenever I have a snapping turtle walk from my pond over to my swamp, his ass ends up in there, and 2 weeks later he's dinner.
You know what? When I used to rent a barn because I used to I started taking in rescue horses. It started off with one and I ended up with 14 in the end, but we had a big pond at the place where we rented the barn. And my best friend, the one that lives up north I was telling you about, her and I both shared a barn together. And we were driving along the road the one day and we saw this humongous turtle on the road. And we were like, oh, we got to rescue him. We got to get him off the road. So we pull over and it was a snapper, right? So we were real careful how we picked him up, put him in the back of the car in the trunk, took him down to the barn, and we put him in the pond because we thought that would be a good place for him. Well, the old guy that owned the property, his geese started disappearing. I went,
Yep.
oops, don't tell him we put that in there.
Yeah, but to purge a snapping turtle so you can eat it so it doesn't taste all gritty, and
Yeah.
it takes all the stink out of it. You just feed it bread, and you change the water that it lives in every single day.
Oh yeah. Well, ain't no way they did that because this guy that fed us this stuff, not only does he eat all this disgusting stuff, but after I met him once, I didn't want my kids around him again. I didn't want him touching my kids. I didn't want him anywhere near my kids. He was just creepy to the max. Oh, lasagna. Yum, yum.
Yep.
I like
And
lasagna.
as far as I know, nobody in my family, which includes my mom, uh, my ex-wife's kids, and their kids,
Tara!
and my kids, and my ex-girlfriend, um, have not eaten store-bought meat in probably 8 years.
Well, I'd like to get to that point, but first I gotta survive the next 2 months. What do you mean high and by, Miss Tara?
Well, I have 600 feet of river going through my property,
Oh yeah?
and my neighbor, he's got 720 feet, and then we skip a few pieces of property, and then this other neighbor, he's got 1,100 feet of this river going through his property, and I trap all this. So we get uh, quite a bit of meat going in the freezer almost every day.
I'd like I'd like to find a piece of property that has running water year round, whether it's a creek or a small river or whatever, and I'd like to use that for both water supply and power and just have solar as a backup. But first I have to survive the next 2 months, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm working really hard to do what I can control, and I put the rest in God's hands. I caught supper. I caught snapper. They paid me in ice cream as a kid. They were well known for their turtle soup for many decades. I guess it probably would be different if it was cooked right, but like Devil Dog said, like Anna said, those people aren't cooking it right. Well, I can tell you that because the guy was just creepy, and he looked worse than half the people on Swamp People. And you
Yeah,
just had a really bad gut feeling about him being anywhere near your kids. Like I had a newborn baby with me, and he started touching her, and it was like, okay, we're leaving now. He's not touching my kids again. We're not coming here again. Hi, Billy. Welcome. Haven't seen you before. Um,
yeah, but the snapping turtle that I cook, I learned it from this old guy down in Mississippi, which is the dad of one of the guys I went through Marine boot camp with. I stayed down there for a week, and he showed me how to, you know, process it and everything else. And then he got himself a nice hot fire going. And then he took the top shell and put it on the fire, added some water, a little bit of beer, and a couple drops of Tabasco, and then he put all the meat in there and cooked it. And then when the meat was almost done, he added little chunks of taters, carrots, and all types of other things. And man, was that
wow.
shit good.
See, when you say it's cooked like that, it sounds really good, but it's just nothing like what we were served. It was disgusting.
Right. if they just go and they catch the snapping turtle and they hose it down and then they kill it and
And
chop it
muskrat
all up,
and
it
yeah.
has a grit taste to it, and
Yeah.
it has an aroma of like raw sewage.
Shift Kicker says feed it Pop Tarts, it'll make it sweet.
I ain't wasting no Pop Tart on a turtle. What's
Hi,
wrong with you?
Pamela. Pamela said that's how her dad used to do it. Well, I'll tell you. Well, see, that's the same with our bass here. Our largemouth, I gotta soak them after we clean it and fillet it. It's gotta soak in, and same with the catfish here. That big channel cat that I caught. Um, we had to soak it in water with lemon for 8 hours and then switch the water out. And I did that for a full 24 hours before I packaged it for freezing. And then it doesn't have any of that nasty taste to it. Oh yeah, you missed it. My last stream, I found the pictures of my catfish that I caught, the great big one, and I was telling Irvin about my youngest one. She's just like mom. She's barefoot everywhere. She loves fishing. And we went one day. We were downtown for some parade or something, but it didn't last long. The kids weren't interested. So we took off and we went down to the docks because we have docks. The Thames River runs through Chatham here, and they've got docks all the way along for people coming in from Michigan off of the Detroit River and St. Clair River, come up the Thames, and you can come right into town, and they've got docks all the way along the river where people can pull their boats up and walk into town. So we went down there fishing, and there was these two guys down there, and you can tell all they do is drink and fish. And they're yipping about how many years they've been trying to catch these gar pike and how hard they are to catch. And my little one's got her flashlight down at the edge of the water because it's almost dusk, right? And she goes, "Look at them all, Mom." And I went, "Yeah, they got really sharp teeth, baby." She goes, "I'm going to catch one." And at this time, she was like maybe 8, 7 or 8. She dropped her pole in the water, D-Dog. She wasn't in there, didn't have it in there 10 minutes, and she caught one. And it was almost as big as her. And she's standing on the dock holding this thing in her bare feet. And these guys are down at the end of the dock just cursing. "I've been trying for X number of years." Da, 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 da. And that little shot up, and I went, "Careful what you say."
Yep.
Kid catches one just like that. And then they put it down on the dock right beside her feet. She's standing there in bare feet. She didn't care. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. See, Pamela saw those pictures, and I was able to do it without kicking myself out.
The first fish I ever caught, we were up at Missinaba, which is north of Chapleau, about 60 miles down a logging trail. And I had my little Mickey Mouse Zebco reel on a little fishing rod, and I pulled up a 32-inch northern pike. That's my first fish I ever caught.
What was it?
32-inch northern pike.
Cool.
Yep.
I
Up
caught
in
I caught one. I think it was 33, 31. It was either 31 or 33. I know it was the biggest one on record for that summer at our campground,
mm-hmm.
but it was kind of ill-begotten because my buddies from Michigan who they used to come, they were seasonals there too. His dad and his two boys. The mom very rarely came, but the dad and two boys always came, and they're the ones that taught me to fish. No one in my family fished. And you had to be up at the crack of what the fuck if you wanted to go fishing with them, right? And the one morning I missed it, And so I took my dad's little fiberglass boat and I went up the Thames to one of those little side inlet kind of things where it just pools off into like a little pond. And I anchored the boat there and I threw my fishing, cast my fishing pole in, and I laid down and I started suntanning and I fell asleep in the sun. Woke up burnt to a crisp and my pole was bent right into the water. So I hauled it in and I go back to the yard and it was like, oh, maybe supper time. They were starting to get ready. And he used to have one of these gigantic cast iron skillets that he put on the campfire. Never would tell anybody his seasoning recipe. He always cooked everybody's fish. He cleaned everybody's fish. He cooked it on the fire. So when I got back, he says, well, where the hell were you this morning? And I said, well, I slept in. So I had to take my dad's boat and go up. Well, did you catch anything? I said, yeah, but to be fair, I said I didn't really catch it honestly because I was asleep sunbathing. He just rolls his eyes at me. Well, he took it up and he measured it and he put it all on file because the campground kept a record for each year. And at the end of the year, it was the biggest one. But I really didn't have any part in catching it, except that I put my pole in the water and laid down the suntan. Vegetable soup. Yeah, a ton of pictures of the big, huge snapping turtle hanging upside down. Hi, Philo. How's it doing? It's been quiet here in Columbus. It's peaceful in Columbus. Never used to be peaceful there when I drove through there with a truck. Maybe I saw a different part of the town. Cincinnati was awful too.
Yeah, Cincinnati's a bit of a hole.
Yeah, disgusting hole. But you know, things could. Hey, David, how's it going? I'm going to drop the link there. If anybody wants to come up and join the conversation, you're more than welcome. Just been talking about everything that I've missed for the last few days, and fishing and food, all the favorite topics. Traffic's been calm since the fake demic. Yeah, I'm so over this. This has been the longest 2 weeks to flatten the curve that it's just like sickening. Yeah, those pictures were pretty fun. My oldest loves fishing. She catches, she's she's the record holder for the biggest bowfin because she always catches bowfin or dogfish, I guess some people in the States call them. If they're there, she catches them, and they're always huge. And she catches wood ducks because they dive down after the minnows and then they bite the hook. And she catches turtles, and she's always walking along the dock helping people that are just, they ran into Canadian Tire and bought some fishing gear because they thought they'd try it. And then once they get a fish on there that swallowed the hook, they're standing there with this stupid look on their face. And she's got these long, skinny fingers. And she puts one up inside the gill and she puts one down the throat of the fish. And she wiggles that hook until it comes out without damaging the fish, and the fish swims away. But she won't eat fish. She'll clean them. She'll catch them. She loves doing it. She loves helping others, but she won't eat them. Blows my mind. But she always likes showing off what she caught. Oh, good night, Shifty. Thanks for coming by, honey. It was nice seeing ya. It was nice being awake first to see some of my friends because it hasn't been like that for this week. Love you, Shifty. Lots of love and prayers, hon. I still haven't heard from Chuck what he's eating.
Well, what I was eating when I came up on your panel was some homemade applesauce.
I was gonna ask you. It looked like possibly applesauce with cinnamon in it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I gotta have cinnamon in it. And I made sure I marked on my box when I was packing boxes. I made sure I marked on there because you can't write everything that's in there, but the important stuff. And I wrote on the box apple peeler. I made 4 dozen of the small jars of applesauce with cinnamon and put them in the canning cupboard. You know, kids are supposed to let them sit. No, in less than a month, all 4 dozen were gone. I'm like, those are supposed to be for the winter, you know. You weren't supposed to just dig into them and start eating them.
Yeah, we usually end up canning about 5 bushels of apples every year for everybody.
Oh, yum. Well, see, I like making chili. Some people call it salsa. I call it chili with tomatoes, peppers, onions, celery, and I usually make a ton of that, like easily 5 bushels of tomato,
Right.
plus the peppers, plus the onions, and everything, because I use it in spaghetti sauce. I use it in everything. The kids eat it with nachos, and then beets. I pickle beets. I love beets. And I used to love them when I was a kid. My mom used to buy the Bix. You remember the Bix pickled beets? And
Mm-hmm.
then they changed something in their formula for the brine, and they got really bitter and sour, and I couldn't eat them anymore. But my ex mother in law had a wonderful recipe for brine, and I pickle my beets with that, and the kids will sit and eat those too. They'll grab a pint jar and sit and eat them while they're watching TV. And they're good for you. They're good for your liver, good for your blood.
Makes your poop look red.
Yeah, everything comes out purple. Makes it
Yeah, but
colorful in the
not
bathroom.
the purple that you eat.
Yeah. Oh my God, do you see the size of that turtle Camo was talking about?
Yeah, I when I do my beets, I do a sweet beet, and I put a little bit of onion in with it, and I run my beets through like a cheese grater instead of cutting it into little slices or discs. It's just
Yeah.
like cheese grater, and we do quarts and quarts. I think I have. Uh, let's see, the flower bed that the beets are in this year is 4 foot by 25 foot, and there's 2 plants for every 4 inches.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. That's what's really throwing me off about everything that's going on right now. Aside from the last 2 years and trying to heal and trying to deal with packing and everything, this is the time when I'm usually planting all my seedlings in my grow tent and getting ready to start my garden so that I can do my canning in the late part of the fall. And it's just really weird. Everybody else is putting gardens in and I'm packing all that stuff up. So I'm just going to go with it and trust that God has got this figured out. And if I don't get any planted this year, I don't. I'm sure I'll be able to find a place where I can at least put up. Who's going to bed? Tara, are you going? Good night, Tara. I love you. Prayers and love for you, honey. Thanks for coming by. Um,
Yeah, now if you don't end up in another place until like the middle of July, you still have plenty of time to do like your beans,
All the fall stuff, yeah.
right? All your lettuces,
Yeah, and I might not be able to grow my tomatoes and peppers and stuff, but I should be able to buy them from like local farmers and stuff.
right? Well, you could even at that time, Home Depot still has the plants, but they're going to be like 2 foot tall.
Yeah. Love you too, Tara. Have a good sleep, hun. Where's Virginia Roots when I'm getting all my secrets? Now, see, I recognize Virginia Roots. I must have seen Billy before and just don't remember it because I know Virginia. Whatever Chuck is eating, it must be pretty good. Must be pretty darn good. I played
I think we have 108 Roma plants.
holy. Now, Roma is good for making paste, right?
Right,
Yeah.
because we make our own tomato paste, tomato sauce, and the tomato sauce will either end up going into like a spaghetti sauce or pizza sauce, or even turn it into ketchup if we need to, or barbecue sauce. And then we have our stewed tomatoes, and then we also do some salsa because my fat ass sister has to have that.
Yeah. Well, see, and I do the chili, the tomato sauce, and tomato juice. I can
Right,
have my
but
own tomato juice.
instead of designating it just chili, you can take your tomato sauce and then make it into a chili.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a way to simplify it. If you have a whole bunch of chili all prepared, all canned and everything,
Yeah.
and you want to do spaghetti, it doesn't taste right using the chili.
No, see, I usually use a jar of the chili, the salsa, and a jar of the tomato sauce, like the
Oh,
sauce, because I do the sauce, the chili, the tomato juice, and the other thing.
right. And then we
Yeah,
have the stewed tomatoes, and that goes into like goulashes and stuff like that.
yeah, that stuff is awesome. And in like uh cabbage roll soup,
Hmm.
and I make Lazy Man's cabbage rolls. Oh, they're to die for. I use like lots of my chili in there. And I love cabbage rolls, but there's so many of them that people make so many different ways, and I can't stand them when they're dried out.
Right.
It just ruins it. Now, my sister-in-law's mom was Polish, and she used to make them a different way. Oh, they were good. Hers I would eat, but the rest of
It,
the time I do Lazy Man's cabbage rolls, which is I take a great big roasting pan and I shred the cabbage, and then I put a layer of the ground beef, rice mixture, and everything that's there, and then I put a layer of cheese, and then I put another layer of cabbage, another layer of meat till it gets up to the top, and then I fill it right to the top of the roaster with Mott's Clamato original, and I let it cook for 8 hours. And then my plan is always to freeze it, but I don't usually end up getting that much to freeze because people eat it so fast. Like the one time we had my friend's band over was jamming at our house, and we had a whole bunch of people over, and I made one of the giant roasters and a medium sized roaster. And I thought, 15 people, I should have plenty to put away, no problem. I got one Tupperware container to freeze, and that was it. The rest was gone.
Yeah, like this year, the whole family told me I was nuts for all the beans I put in the freezer. Let's see, green beans, we had 370 pounds,
Holy.
and wax beans, 190 pounds.
I like
And
wax beans.
the garden's not even growing yet, and they're all gone.
Yeah, but you put too much down, right?
Yeah, I way overdid it.
Yeah. I like green beans. I like the green string beans. I like the wax beans. A lot of the uh kidney beans and stuff like that, I have big problem. They cause problems for my IBS, and I don't know what it is about cucumber because I love the taste of cucumber, but the skin of the cucumber puts me on the floor with my IBS. It's like off the charts. Swamps.
Yeah, all the different beans that people usually dry, I dry them and I heat can them. You know how to heat can?
Is that where you put the dry beans in the jar and then you put them in the oven?
Right.
Yes.
And I use the half-gallon jars for that,
Mhm.
because, you pop it, it'll stay good forever.
Yeah. See, like lentils and stuff, I'm okay with those, and I use lentils in a lot of my soup for fiber and stuff. But there's a lot of beans that I can't eat.
Yep. And don't heat can popcorn. It doesn't turn out well.
Isn't that sort of like the Jiffy Pop thing in
Yeah,
foil?
yeah, pretty much, but there's glass everywhere.
Yeah, kaboom.
It's not pretty.
Ever use an empty milk jug to fish for turtles? Nope, because I've never fished for turtles. And my daughter tries to fish for fish, but she catches turtles and other stuff.
Yeah, fishing for turtles, what I do is I take a chunk of 2 by 12, about 2 foot long, and I put some treble hooks on it, and then I nail a chunk of chicken to the top of it, and I put it out there in the pond.
Oh,
And the snapping turtle is usually hooked really good, probably on a leg or something with those treble hooks.
yeah. Well, see, and I came across a video of this little kid. He's he can't be more than 5 or 6. And I don't know if he's from the Philippines or somewhere around there. But the video is called best pole fishing or something. He's got 6 rods of pieces of bamboo with a piece of string tied on the end of it and just sort of wrapped around the end until it unravels itself. I mean, it's not hooked to a reel or anything. And he's got his bobber and then his bait that he puts on, and it looks like he's putting on some kind of fat. And he's got all 6 of these poles dropped in the water. This little kid, 5 years old, and he starts watching the bobbers go. And as soon as they go down and stay down, he just grabs the bamboo, picks it up, and hoists the fish onto the beach or into the boat. Little tiny kid, and he's just hoisting fish like you wouldn't believe.
Hmm.
I showed it to my girls. I said, "Look, we've been doing it wrong the whole time. This little kid's got it all figured out." Camel. 2005, I found an unopened glass jar of Orville Redenbacher's popcorn from 1980. Is that how old Orville Redenbacher's has been around?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I used to see all the commercials with the dude with the gray hair, Orville Redenbacher, I guess he was supposed to be. It looked okay, but I still gave it to the raccoons. Probably good advice. Good choice.
Yeah, we got 20 stalks of popcorn growing this year.
Now, see, that's what I was wondering. Is popcorn actually comes from a specific kind of corn?
Yes.
And I didn't know that. So
And
I would.
it's really easy to get it off the cob. You just put your little attachment in a drill, you shove it into the cob, and then you have an inch and a half pipe, maybe a foot and a half long, and you have 3 drywall screws in different points on it that are all together. And you keep it separated just enough for the cob to get through.
Yeah.
And you just run it right into that, and all the kernels come off and come out the bottom of it.
Now you have to wait till it's dried, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes between 3 and 5 seconds per cob. And you clean it all off, and it's all ready to be cooked up and popped.
You know the best way I found to cook corn on the cob, well for me anyways, was cooler corn. Throw the cobs in a cooler and then pour 2 or 3, however many it's going to take, to cover the corn with boiling water and close the lid on the cooler and go back half an hour later and they're all cooked perfect. And I forget where I found that. I think that was like some magazine thing, cooler corn, that I found. But oh, does it taste good, and it's so tender. I suspect lightning invented popcorn. Right? I think Chuck's going to sleep after his meal.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
I was.
last year my little garden was a little bit more than 30 foot by 60 foot. And this year it's 60 foot by 120 feet.
Holy. That's big.
Plus the 4 acres of property that's still north of where my garden is. Since my farmer already got his subsidies from the government, he's not even allowed to have his own personal garden on his property this year. So on my property, he's got 4 acres of potatoes in the ground.
Oh.
And then my other neighbor, he's um, doing all the cantaloupe that the farmer usually sells. And the other neighbor that is like a bazillionaire,
Yeah.
um, the neighbor's wife is the oldest daughter of the man who invented discount tire.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like she's really hurting for money. But the farmer put in his hayfield in their front yard. So the beautiful manicured front yard is now a hayfield.
Is that noise coming from mine?
What,
I
from
don't
your
know.
computer going fast?
Maybe. Might have been that fan kicking in again.
Yep.
That's another thing. I just keep praying that it's still working because it's a 2007. So the fact that it's still working, that's a plus.
Well, I still have both of these laying on the ground.
Oh, yeah. Now, were those Dell? Yeah.
One's a Dell, one's an HP.
I had a Dell before this one, and the reason I ended up replacing it was because the battery was so freaking expensive to replace.
And then I got another HP over there.
Holy.
And then I got another computer there.
And then there's the big screen.
Yeah. And I can either cast from my phones or it's also hooked up to that other computer. And that's where I usually do my Zoom calls, because if I use the big monitor,
Yeah.
then I can actually see who's who when there's 50 people on the call.
Yeah. And see, that's what I have to do when I'm watching the different channels. I watch it on my big screen TV so that I can see the names that are under the people and see who's up on panel and stuff. But I have to watch my phone for the chat. But
Yeah,
I'm guessing that everybody's getting tired, or someone else has a better stream on.
that Black Dell, I'm surprised it works, because I don't know, 3 weeks or a month ago, I was ran off the road, and
No way.
the van rolled a few times, and the laptop still works, and I'm kind of surprised with that.
You were run off the road and it rolled?
Yeah.
Holy frick, D-Dog.
What?
Did you hunt him down?
Yeah, from where? The ditch? Yeah, I'm going to get out on the highway and start running.
Holy frick.
In all my vehicles, I have the backup camera is fully active.
Yeah.
And then there's another camera out the front. And there's another camera above the driver's door, the passenger door, and the side doors. So all that gets recorded 24/7 on my vans.
That's cool.
So I do have their information.
Oh, there you go.
And my sheriff is really cool. If I ask him not to pursue something, he won't. I said, I just want to know the guy's contact information and everything else, and he got it for me.
I just can't believe you're in a van and it rolled over several times.
Well, I was doing 80 down the highway, so.
Oh my God. Oh. That's wild. You're so lucky to be alive.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's the third time in the last, 18 months, so it's no big thing.
Get out of town, really? Third
Yeah,
time?
well, I like stirring shit up.
True. So you think these might have been targeted?
Oh, I know I am, because I get death threats on my phone, too.
Fuck. Excuse my language. That's wild. Well, if you come up here to Canada to visit, make sure you tell them that you're going to Alabama or something. Send them the other way. We have enough freaks up
If
here
I
in
come back
Canada.
into Canada, there's only 2 places I think I'd actually like to visit. I'd like to go back to the Toronto Science Museum.
That place is cool. The Toronto Science Center.
Yep. And my other place would be Wawa, just so I can see that big Canadian goose staring over Lake Superior.
Well, I know once things get done and finished here and I get to where my storage is and my girlfriend is, even if I don't have a place to live, I'm going to make sure that them fishing poles are at the back of the container.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going fishing because I love fishing up there in them lakes. I'll
Yeah,
just go sit and fish and think.
yeah. In Canada, the only place I ever went was actually Missinaba, and that's what 60 miles north of Chapleau, and that
That's up there.
just beautiful area. Um, Lake Missinaba at the eastern point. There's a sandbar, and if you go on shore there, it's an old Indian village.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking sticks and stones, Indian
Yeah.
village. And if you go the other direction, you go past this big cliff, and then it goes into a little inlet. But right there at that corner, there's a whole bunch of Indian art.
Oh yeah. Like carved on the cliff,
Well, painted,
painted. Yeah.
yeah, 60, 70 feet above the water.
Wow. I mean, it's gorgeous up there. I love, and I said the other night I can't explain what it is about that area because I didn't grow up there. I never lived there, and I'd never been there until I went moose hunting. And the first time I went there, the day that we had to leave, I was just brokenhearted. I felt like I was leaving my only home, and I'd never lived there before. And out of all the places I've been, it's the only place that feels like home, which is
Yeah,
weird.
and when we were cool and or when I was a kid up there and stuff, every evening, the nice evening with the full moon, we'd head over to the garbage dump and we'd park about 150, 200 feet away and just watch all the bears come out of just everywhere into the garbage dump.
Oh, yeah, there's a ton of bears up there.
Yep.
My uncle and my cousin used to come up here every year with about 5 of their buddies from Pennsylvania, and they used to go on hunting trips. One hunting trip and 2 fishing trips a year, every year up in Canada, up in
Mm-hmm.
north of Algonquin Park. And every time they went home, they'd end up going back with more people because everybody would tell them what it was, how amazing it was, and how much they loved being there. And I found a jar in a friend's root cellar. They were the best pickles I ever had, and that's saying something. They must have been sealed properly then, because usually, if they're not sealed properly, they ain't keeping.
Yeah, they'd be a little skunk.
Yeah, 14-year-old. And I gotta send my daughter down sometime this weekend to get me some more 5-gallon buckets so I can put my vacuum sealed rice and my vacuum sealed flour in there. Because I've been I got a couple of the big bags of each, and then I put them through the freezer thing to kill any whatever, and then I take them out when I'm ready to vacuum seal them, and I let them come to room temperature for a day or two, and then I start sealing it all in bags and vacuum seal
Yeah.
and throwing them in the 5-gallon. Then at least I know I got flour and rice. And like you said, you can dry can the beans for
Well,
the.
you can dry can rice too.
That'd be a lot of jars though. It's easier to do it in vacuum seals.
Well, you could do half gallons or 1 gallon jars.
True. And I have some of the 1 gallons left from uh, when we were trying to start some chickens, and then all this crap happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I was using one of those to make fermented feed in because it's more nutritious for them, and they don't eat as much of the dry food because they're getting all the nutrition from the fermented grains. I forget where I saw that, but one of the shows that I watch, they started mixing fermented or making fermented feed for their chickens, and their chicken feed lasted longer, but they were healthier and they were getting more nutrition out of the fermented stuff because it was all broke down for them for easy for digestion.
Yeah,
Oh, I believe if you say that you ate them after 14 years and they were the best ones you'd ever had, I believe you. Because I'm pretty sure if you opened up one after 14 years and it wasn't good, you'd say so.
yeah, you be telling us how bad you threw up just smelling it.
Yeah.
The guy who raised the chickens that I have slaughtered every year, well, I know a little about electronics and coding and microprocessors, microcomputers, stuff like that. We set up chicken tractors, and every 12 hours they move whatever the length is that they are. So they're cruising all over his yard all the time.
That's cool because I've seen the chicken tractors, and that would be cool to see it automated where it moved on its own. That would be
Right.
cool.
Yep, but whenever it hits the edge of the property, he has to go there and turn it around so it can go back the other way. And he almost wastes no money on food for the chickens because they just live off the insects.
Yeah. Well, between that and they spread, if there's like one of the fellows I watch is he rotates chickens. He rotates all of his animals and he rotates his cows from one pasture to the next. And then he
Right.
puts his chicken tractors in where the cows were, and he runs the chicken tractor through there, and they spread all the manure and fertilize the pasture, and he just keeps doing that, and he says the pasture comes back beautiful afterwards because they spread everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the big thing about all of the stuff in the stores. You don't know what they're putting in it. And with all the disgusting stuff we've been hearing lately about stuff that they've been putting in food, bleh, between chemicals and disgusting stuff.
Well, I still have a dairy farm near me, and he lets me buy a couple gallons every week of unpasteurized milk.
The raw milk, yeah.
Yep.
And the one channel that I watch pretty regularly, they have only 2 dairy cows. The rest of their cows are for beef, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the 2 dairy cows, they get 28 gallons of milk a week.
Right.
And they make butter, yogurt, you name it, they make it.
Yeah, his wife makes butter and yogurt and stuff, and I end up buying some off of them too.
Butter, yogurt, cheese, and there's something else that she makes too. And then the leftover, after they've done all that, they put all that along with all the tops from their produce gardens and all that stuff in the slop for the pigs
Mm-hmm.
so that none of it gets wasted, and it all feeds the cycle of the farm. If it looks good, smells and tastes good, it's probably good. Right? Because I've had a few things that looked good and they smell okay, but when you tasted them, bleh.
Yeah.
I forget who I was telling. I think it was a couple weeks ago when I was driving and we went into the 76 truck stop in New Orleans. And they had all kinds of weird stuff on the menu that I'm not used to seeing, right? So I thought I would just go with something safe, and I would order spaghetti and meat sauce. But when it came to the table and I started looking at it, and there was like 5 different colors of meat in there, my mind just started going, and I went, maybe I'll just go for a grilled cheese sandwich. Maybe we'll simplify it even more than spaghetti and meat sauce, and we'll just go for a grilled cheese. And what's the big thing that... Oh, my mom used to have to take down the little holders for soft-boiled eggs every time they'd go down to the States for their like golfing holiday or whatever, because nobody down there where they were going, North Carolina area, Pennsylvania, they were like, what do you mean soft-boiled eggs? My mom's going, what do you mean you don't know what they are? And we have these special little holders, I guess, for the egg, and you just cut the top off and then you salt and pepper it, and it's like a soft boiled egg. It's really good. But people down there didn't know what it was. So every time she'd go down, she'd take a couple extra packets of those things and she'd show people how to make them, and they're like, "Oh, this is really good." I don't know if it was a thing from here or if it was a thing from Scotland, but she had a lot of stuff that she had from like I call it, same as she called it, mince. But for here, for my kids, I even have to clarify it's hamburger stew. But my mom called it mince, right? And it was just ground beef with carrots and potatoes and beans and gravy.
Yep, and usually cooked in lard.
Yeah. And so good with mashed potatoes, baby carrots. Oh, yum, yum, yum.
Yeah, like this year, my mom just turned 90, and she's all worked up because she's down to 1 pint of minced meat.
Now, is this the mincemeat that they put in tarts, or is it the mincemeat with ground beef?
It's the cow type.
The cow type, okay. Because that's another thing my mom used to do, was make mincemeat tarts, which was not the same as mince, because this was made with fruit of some sort.
Right.
And I didn't like those. Those were disgusting. I do like mince, though. I don't know. Are you subbed, Billy? Welcome back, Lisa.
Yep, and down near the river, I have a marshy area, and I've been taking all the elderberry bushes and putting them into rows this year so that I can cover them and keep the birds out of them.
Oh, and what was one of the guys I watch was saying today? They just moved from their old place, which was 7 acres. They bought this 40-acre property that hadn't been lived on for like at least 10 or 15 years. It was all overgrown. It just had an old barn that was falling apart. It had a well, but no house, and all this overgrown pasture and treed areas that were all full of different sizes. And so anyways, they bought this property, and they've been, breaking it down into pastures and house area. And there was a low area where all the water runoff during the rain seemed to go to. So they had a fella come in, and he bush hogged all the trees and the shrubs and everything out of this one area, and they've put in a pond there. And they figure it's probably going to take up to 2 years for it to get to the point where it stays stable. I mean, it's holding water now, but it's evaporating as quick because of the heat.
Right. It has to build a silt base.
Yeah. And so they've got it. I guess he finished the actual infrastructure of the pond last week, and now they just have to wait for it to fill. But he's gonna, when things die down on the rest of the place and their house gets finished and stuff like that, he's gonna set up a ram pump from their creek to just slowly pump water in, and then plus the runoff from the rain and stuff. And once it gets to the point where it stays at the level it's supposed to, he said he's going to add, I think he said, bluegill and grime. Is there a fish called grime or grime?
I don't know. A lot of times, whenever people put bluegill in, they also put in crappie.
Yeah, I think he said he was also going to put 1 or 2 carp. I said, I would just go with 1, or you're going to have
No,
way too many.
none.
He was
No
saying
carp.
he said he was going to put 1 in to keep the algae and shit all under. But well, he said he was going to put a couple. I was saying, no. Don't put any more than 1 in there, or you're going to end up with 1,000,000.
Believe it or not, he should introduce a large snail and some crayfish.
Oh. Large snails? Is that what you said?
Yeah, a couple of large snails that'll keep down a lot of the algae,
Yeah.
and the crayfish will pretty much scavenge anything that shouldn't be in there.
Yeah.
And the bluegill will eat the little crayfish, so it won't overpopulate.
Yeah. And see, there's a bunch of gals that come over from Michigan and they love bluegill. And I'm like, everyone I catch, you gotta go, you want it? Because I can't be bothered to clean them. There's not enough meat on them to clean them.
Right, and the bones,
Yeah,
they don't
they're
flay nice.
no. And crappie are awesome. And you get a lot of meat off of crappie. Very
Hmm.
few bones. Very yummy. And it's where we used to go down at the marina in Erio. You used to be able to go down in this area. It was all dirt and rocks and stuff, and it led out to the pier that went to the lighthouse. But in the marina area, we used to go down there at night and crappie fish. And there'd be tons of people from Michigan there, and a ton of people from Toronto there. People would drive from Toronto to come down and crappie fish down here. And the one night we were sitting there, and we kept hearing this banging noise. And then my son looked over, and the lid of the cooler kept popping up and down. And then he seen one of those, it's not a muskrat. What are those ones that people like to have as ferrets?
Uh,
There's 3 ferrets that live down there. And they were going in the cooler and stealing the fish. And my son's wrestling with this ferret through the fence. Give me that fish back. Because we had a whole bunch of them in the cooler that we caught. And they're stealing them out of the cooler and dragging them under the fence and screwing off down in their hole with them. So they didn't
yeah,
even
like
have to get supper. They just waited for us to get it for them.
yeah, like this year's been crazy with the mink. I, I've gotten a ton of mink in those traps I got.
Yeah. We've had a lot of possum around here. and some really skanky looking ones that are out wandering around all dozed out in the daytime, really disgusting looking. I caught one in the live trap, and I guess you're not supposed to tell anybody that you took it and drowned it.
No, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to leave that part of the story out.
Yeah, but you know, I didn't want it coming back on our property, and I didn't want to release it around other animals because it was clearly sick, right? It was very obviously sick.
Yeah, but
So,
you can get a hold of animal control or an animal shelter or whatever, and they'll gladly take it off your hands.
well, I thought I was just doing everybody a favor, and
Well, you were, but you're not supposed to tell no one you did that.
okay, well, it was disposed of anyways. And I was informed later that you shouldn't do that. So
Right.
I said, okay, next time I catch one, I won't do that.
I never said you weren't supposed to do that. I said you're not supposed to tell anyone you did that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Good.
And
But
then,
I have a little rule on the property. If I kill it, I have to eat it.
oh, yeah, I
So I
wasn't.
won't kill possum. I won't kill raccoon because I won't eat them
And see,
because they're just filthy scavengers.
yeah. And we had a coon fell down into my dog's kennel, and everybody was freaking out. Like they called my girlfriend over, bring your shotgun. We got a coon in there with the dog, blah, 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 blah. I'll tell you what, she got a hold of that coon by the back of the neck without getting scratched or bit, and she just started shaking until she broke its back.
Right.
Well, then it went into her doghouse. Then she was really pissed off. So my girlfriend came and they coaxed it out, and then we'll just say she dealt with it. But my dog got a hold of it and managed to do that without getting bit or scratched. And I said, "Man, you got to be fast to get a hold of one of those."
Yeah, like I have a buddy of mine, and he just started raising sheep, and he's out in the Colorado type area,
Mm-hmm.
and he's having a problem of every morning there's more and more gone, and I don't know if he has like big dogs or wolves or whatever that's coming
Yeah,
and taking
something's
them.
found a food source.
Yeah, I told him to get a couple of mules. And he laughed at me. I said, just call around and ask people if they have a mule and tell them what you need it for, and you'll be surprised the feedback you get. So he called around, and next day he's calling me back and says, yeah, did you know that a mule's like the best watchdog you can ever have because it'll kill even a full timber wolf? I go, yeah, that's why I told you get a fucking mule. Won't hurt your sheep, but it'll take care of whatever's hurting your sheep.
Yeah, someone else, and they said that geese are some of the best alarm systems too.
Yeah,
Like if
that's an alarm system, but
the
uh,
donkeys or the
the
mules actually will
a mule is
kill them.
actually a protector.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I'm going to run off. I'm going to try to get some sleep before this damn phone starts ringing again.
I hear you. I'm surprised your alarm clock hasn't gone off yet.
No, I'll probably get a phone call in about an hour, hour and a half, and have to get up. And then at 6 o'clock when my alarm goes off, I go back to bed until 8:30, 9 o'clock when it rings again.
Wow. Well, I thank you for joining me, and I'm thank you for updating me on your interesting travels. I think it blows me away that you were rolled in your van like 3 weeks ago. Holy.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's just normal.
Well, I wouldn't find that normal. For me, like I
Well,
didn't even see.
everything I do is documented.
Well, that's good. And I like the idea about the cameras. And I definitely like the motorized chicken tractor. I like that idea.
Yeah, that's just something that I put together on a weekend.
Well, I don't know how long it'll take before I find the right place and all that kind of stuff, but I may be asking you to help tell me how to set up one of those chicken tractors.
Yeah, I'll send you the code and a list of products to buy that'll make it.
I could buy the products. I don't know anything about code.
Yeah, but I can talk you through how to install it into an Arduino, because that's what I think we use an Arduino to do the timing. And I think we put a Raspberry Pi in too.
Oh, Billy, you're just saying that to upset me now, because you know how much I like fishing.
I guess you got to go hang out with Billy tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't do that right now. I have other stuff that takes priority. No fishing until this part of the story is over. I can look at the fishing poles. In fact, I got 3 of them sitting in my room here. Yeah, chicken tractor. It's an enclosed chicken coop that you put out in the field, and it's mobile. You move it.
Yep.
No, remote and cage and a couple others are out in Alberta. I'm in Ontario and hoping to be in northern Ontario next month. Hoping if everything goes okay. God willing. I just have to do what I can control and put the rest in his hands.
Yep. And if you want to make God laugh, tell him what you want to do.
Yeah. I haven't usually been telling him. I usually just saying, "This is my idea. What do you think?" And he usually guides me in the right direction.
Yeah, which is nothing close to the goal that you set for yourself.
Well, so far it's been every time I try and do something opposite, I end up with a ton of trouble.
Yeah.
If I try and do what I think he's been trying to tell me since the first time I went moose hunting, then the first time I felt like that was home, when I try and gear things towards that, then things start to work out. So I'm just going to keep working at it. That's why I haven't been around much, because between every waking moment, I'm doing one or the other of those things, either posting or donating or packing and trying to arrange for stuff to be picked up and gone. And then the second that I sit down for a rest, the next thing I know, I'm waking up. And then I go, what the heck happened? And then I find myself waking up again. It just keeps happening. That's how the last 2 weeks have just gone. Oh, and the dog. Yeah, he was gone for almost 3 full days, and we kept getting reports, people telling us he was up on the 401. You know that road, and he was on the eastbound side, but he was traveling west in the grass. And we get all these people were giving us reports, and people keep going down and trying to find him. And then the third day, someone texted my daughter. She wasn't home. Said, I got him. I grabbed him. And they gave her the address. So one of our friends went and picked him up and brought him home. Well, I'll tell you what, he was pretty quiet for the next day and a half. He wasn't barking at nothing. He was just sleeping and eating. That's it.
Mhm.
I want to put
Yeah,
some.
do you want to hear how stressful moving was for me in 2005?
Yes.
I grabbed my clothes, my electronics, and my movies and threw them in my van. And then everything else in the house went into two 40-yard dumpsters and I left.
Wow. Well, I mean, I've cleared out a lot. Like, and my daughter says, "What are you getting rid of that for?" I said, "What do I need to keep it for? I mean, why are you getting rid of all these sheets and this and that?" I said, "Because it's just me. I don't need all this." "Well, what if I decide to come up?" I said, "Well, if you decide to come up, we'll deal with it then. I'm not worrying about it now
Right.
because they all got their own things going on." That that sounds pretty awesome, Billy.
So it sounds like Billy has a bucket list.
Yeah.
I only have one thing on my bucket list, and that's to get into the prayer room for Congress in the Capitol building and see the stained glass window of George Washington kneeling. That's the only
Wow.
thing on my bucket list to do.
That sounds awesome. I didn't even know they had a prayer room.
Well, you wouldn't think they would,
No, not
but
with
I
them
bet you
trying to
there's like two,
eliminate it.
3 inches of dust in there and no one's even walked into the place in years.
Well, not hard to understand with who's in charge and who was in charge prior.
Well, who thinks they're in charge and they're learning that it's the people?
Yeah, it's pretty shocking the way they're acting and the way they're, I guess it's like desperation. They know they're going down. So they're going to pull out all the stops because there's no way they're going to admit they did anything wrong.
Yep, but we got to get back the grand juries away from the criminal organization as the bar association, and then we can start having our common law courts right inside our city halls and do everything outside the system.
Yeah, because like the way they've got everybody believing that they're the almighty and their laws and they're this, they're that. Oh, that was something I wanted to tell you. I got this book because we remember when we were talking about the Canadian Charter rights and the other stuff, and I told you I'd ordered them so that I could have those as well. Uh,
Did you get a hold of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights?
um, no, I haven't found that yet.
Okay, I'll.
I've been trying to find the actual international covenant that has the 1 to 27 parts. All I've been able to find is all
Is the
the
one from 1976 that has 54 parts.
and see I found the one from 1976. I'm just gonna I gotta read this to you because I thought I gotta tell D Dog this. I just gotta find the book. Oh, here it is. You gotta hear the write up on this. It's called From Democracy to Judicial Dictatorship in Canada. And okay, where's the thing on it?
That's
Um,
right, you guys were never a republic.
uh, yeah, it's called From Democracy to Judicial Dictatorship in Canada, The Untold Story of the Charter of Rights. And the write up on it, You got to hear this. It says Canada has been profoundly changed since our Constitution, including the Charter of Rights, came to be patriated in 1982. This took place without any national referendum or public support. The 1982 patriation caused the transfer of power from the elected federal parliament and provincial legislatures, which are accountable to the public, to non-elected, unaccountable judges sitting on the Supreme Court of Canada. The judiciary now make, without public input or accountability, fundamental decisions affecting our daily lives. From democracy to judicial dictatorship in Canada reveals how this dramatic change came about. Based on documentary evidence, the authors disclose how Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau, the one we thought could never be outdone for being the worst prime minister, but his son is such a shining star. Pierre Elliott Trudeau, an ardent socialist, became a member of the Liberal Party of Canada solely to use it as a platform to change Canada's constitution according to his directions. Had no respect for the elected members of parliament, and preferred that elitists appointed judges make fundamental decisions using the charter as their tool to reshape Canadian values and society. Engaged in obnoxious behavior, deliberately misleading the public about the purpose and effect of his proposed Charter of Rights, Canadian judges have used the Charter to expand their role and influence contrary to the clear intent of the drafters of the Charter. Time and again, judges have thrown aside judicial restraint, abandoned legal merit and precedent as the basis of their decisions, and instead have applied their own political ideology in reaching their decisions. They have now become the most powerful individuals in Canadian history. These startling events, examined through a critique of a number of Supreme Court of Canada and lower court cases, and the apparent mentality of the judges who believe that they are personally qualified to decide what is best for Canadians. This book provides the reader with the three-part assessment of our current state of constitutional crisis. The first part is a survey of the politics that went into 1982 patriation of Canada's Constitution. The second, the loss of Parliament sovereignty and the rise of judicial activism. And in the third part, the authors make the case that reform is not only necessary but possible. Both the courts and Parliament must actively seek to rebalance their respective roles based on principles of responsible government and electoral accountability to ensure that Canada once again becomes strong and free, rooted in the consent of the governed.
Well, you guys have to. Well, have you heard about any of the groups in Canada that are working on a new constitution?
No,
That they're actually um, basing it off of America and Russia's?
no.
You know, so that you're basically divorcing the Queen and becoming a republic. No more monarchy.
Can you send me some of that information? If I
Well,
give you my
I'll ask them if I'm allowed to hand their information out
okay.
because I've been working with those people and a couple organizations in Australia, and one of the people who did the Constitution for South Africa. He's looking to rewrite that Constitution and resubmit it so it becomes a republic instead of a democracy.
Well, I'd like to get some of that information.
Right.
I'm putting my info in the private chat. Founder's Bible. Is that the one from 18? No, that's the dictionary, right? That I'm thinking about.
Yeah, the Webster's Dictionary 1828.
Yeah, that's the one that was written to help explain the Constitution, right?
Right. Well, he said the only reason I wrote this is so the people can better understand the Constitution.
Yeah. No, Lisa, I didn't see Nancy Drew. Like I said, I was amazed that I was able to catch Robert's stream today because I haven't been able to catch almost anybody's in the last 3 or 4 days. Bonnie's I was able to go to a couple days, but I was so wiped I couldn't. All I could do was listen. It's just it's exhausting right now, and I'm panicked about getting things done, but I'm hoping that there'll be relief at the end of it, just so I can breathe. Yeah, so the Founder's Bible. And see, if it weren't for people like Remote and Hawk and Guardian and some of the others, I've never been a religious person. Can't handle religions at all. I don't care what religion it is, I'm not into it. Spiritually, I speak with God every day. Have ever since I can remember Him coming into my life. And I think that's good enough. I don't think I need someone in between, a mediator or a building or religion or that. I can speak to Him directly. And I never had I could never understand any of the written Bibles that I saw. I just, it was like too much chaos for me. But I got a hold of 1611 King James um, what is it? Study Bible, which gives you the extra. It gives you all of the stuff that's in the 1611, but it gives you maps and instructions and breaks stuff down into English, which made it so much easier for me to understand. So I have that one, and I have, what's the other one?
Well, this is the Founder's Bible.
Oh, yeah?
See in the center?
Yeah?
So whatever chapter and verse you're reading, it tells you where else in the Bible you can find a similar thing.
Ooh.
And then it has American history stuff in it too.
I might have to get a copy of one of those too. I really like the the I mean, the King James Study Bible is the only one that's made it easy for me to understand stuff where it wasn't all Greek. Well, not Greek literally, but to me it was all just mumble jumbled and I couldn't make out what they were trying to get across. And with the King James Study Bible, I find it a lot easier.
Yeah, but the Founder's Bible is based off the Geneva Bible from 1599.
Oh, that's the other one that I have. I have the Geneva one. I think Hawk
And
told me.
this one is David Barton. He put that together along with all types of American history. Now, in the world, he is the #1 biblical scholar. and he's
Cool.
also the #1 historian of American history. And in his little museum that he has, Pilgrim era documents, he has over 100,000 pure Pilgrim era documents.
Wow.
So he has more Pilgrim era documents than the Library of Congress or the Smithsonian has.
That's a lot of documents.
Yep, the National Archive is the only one that has more. Now, total documents, he has over 250,000 different original documents. And him and Glenn Beck are partners, and their prize document is the second draft of the Declaration of Independence. And that's the
Why?
Declaration of Independence America would have had if Georgia and South Carolina wouldn't have said, oh no, we can't have that. Because it was originally 4 pages and it gave freedom to all the slaves.
Really? And so uh there was more than one. So which one is the one that they used as the official one? The second one?
The 5th one.
Oh, the fifth one.
Yep. And like a lot of people don't understand that the Declaration of Independence just says why we separated from the state of Great Britain. But no one talks about the Lee Resolution. It's only 1 paragraph long, and that's our actual divorce papers from Great Britain. And it gives all the colonies statehood. And that's way more important than the Declaration of Independence, which just says why.
Mm-hmm. All I know is I am so ready for this to be over. This is like they've shown so much corruption with proof, and I just want them to start bringing the hammer down.
Okay. Well, I'll be happy that I know for a fact that my grandchildren will know freedom because of what I'm doing.
Yep,
I don't know if my
absolutely.
kids will, but I know my grandkids will.
A lot of people's grandkids will because of what you're doing.
Yeah, but it took over 200 years for us to get where we are now.
Oh yeah.
It's nothing that I'm going to be able to fix in my lifetime.
No, but it's a good start. And I'm sure if there's enough people out there like you or that follow your lead and can pick up and continue, then we all stand a pretty good chance.
Well, in my core group, there's 60 of us,
Oh, there you
and
go.
and then the next ring is 1,200 people, and the next ring is I think 31,000 people,
Ah,
and from there it just goes crazy. Um,
D-Dog's Secret Army.
well, yeah, the Pen Warriors.
Yeah,
I think total people in these groups is right between 1.2 to 1.6 million people.
that's a nice little chunk.
Right, but to make serious change, we need 3.3.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some of the crazy shit that's happening in the last couple of weeks is waking a lot of people up. They're starting to go, wait, what the fuck? What the? Wait. Even the ones who were, pointing the finger at everybody else, they're starting to go, wait a minute here. Wall builders.
Yeah, that's David Barton's organization.
He's back. What did you have? What did you have?
Oh, I made some. Jimmy Dean makes this stuff with the little hash brown, sausage, cheese, onions, and bell peppers in it. I mixed up a bunch of scrambled eggs and made it. That shit's awesome. I don't know why I like it. It looks like something you'd load a burrito with. But
Yeah, I like Jimmy Dean sausage.
Yeah. Well, I'll be back. I'm stepping out for a cigarette.
Alrighty. How you doing, Chuck?
I'm all right. I got rid of that. That stuff got rid of that hangover feeling.
I'll betcha. And
They,
did Miss Vicky go to work or is she home?
she's off. She took off last night so she can go with me today to take him to school. That testing.
Yeah.
Hell, what is it? 2 hour drive, 2.5 hour drive, something like that. So we spent 5 hours driving today, and sat in the parking lot up there while he took two different school exams. The Texas testing for their. This was algebra and biology this time. Last month it was for English, so that's all of his testing. They give them 3 hours each. He was able to take both of them in 3 hours.
Well, that's cool.
He was
And
worried about it.
What's this test for, Chuck?
It's schooling stuff. You know how the end of the year test in school they give to see if they're, I guess it's grade placement or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Bill.
Oh yeah, Billy. He's been here the whole time. He was eating though.
And then I went to click to come up here, and then somehow or another, your StreamYard link took me to Bonnie and them's backstage, and Bonnie and Shane were still back there talking.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah. They use
That's
backstage, I guess, for a few of them will go back there and they'll sit and BS for a while.
That's weird.
I guess you don't have to worry about whatever you talk about then, YouTube bothering you over.
Yeah.
Not sure if he passed. He was worried, Lisa, about his algebra, but he was watching videos on algebra. Something in there to do with they're using it like 10 something at the sixth power and trying to come up with the answer. He's telling me, I took trig and calculus, never took any algebra, so he completely lost me when he started talking about all that.
I don't understand algebra. I'm sure it has a purpose, but I don't understand it.
That's like me when I went into electronics school. All that calculus and stuff that I learned, I've never used it, but I've never went in the field of electronics. I work on stuff, and I did it because I wanted to go to work at IBM in the 80s, and I was going in for the third interview for IBM was I show up and they hire me, and I got a call right before I walked out to forget it. My my sister-in-law's husband worked for IBM. He was one of the ones way high up, but I guess the vice president's nephew wanted a job, and they hired him, and pissed me off, and I never pursued it anymore. That week later, after they did it, they called, wanted to know if I wanted the job. It was mine, and they didn't even give me more money. And I told them to go pound sand,
Right?
which I shouldn't have been that way. But hell, in the 80s, the job was going to pay me starting out $80,000 a year, company car, credit card, full paid insurance.
Dang.
I shouldn't have been a dick about it.
Shouldn't have been a dick about it. Oh.
Morals got in the way.
Well, I tell you, Chuck, I missed you guys this week. I've been just either out of it, like right out of it. Couldn't stay awake.
I think I even was only on once. A lot of weirdness going on.
Yeah, and like last week I slept through the entire rally, and the week before that I never woke up till the end of it. So I never got nothing on the last two. But today I was able to stay awake. I managed to see Robert's stream, which I haven't seen in almost a week and a half. And I was able to see the rally. And I almost dozed off before my stream started, but then something woke me up and I was like, oh crap, I'm late. And I was able to and I was able to play a video, Chuck, without kicking myself out.
Huh. What'd you play?
The one about Elon buying YouTube.
Yeah, it's weird some of the stuff they get you on and some they don't. That's
Yeah.
like me. I did that one rally in North Carolina, and they ended up kicking me off of it. And it was the stream that I ran was a YouTube stream of it, and people were talking about it, and they got me for misinformation.
Yeah, well, see, now remember the night that I was able to play that one video? I think it was the one that Guardian gave me. No, it was the night. Remember when they pulled my video down? Right, 5 minutes into the video, they pulled it down,
Yeah,
and my stream came back up, but the video they took down that I was playing. And I
yeah.
waited and waited and waited, and then about 3 days later, I got like 6 or 7 copyright violations for that video for music, and I'm like, I don't remember music being played in that video because that was the Watch the Water one, and I only got 5 minutes into it and they yanked it down, but they gave me a crap load of copyright right for music. I'm like, whatever.
I tried to legitimize the fact of them calling me misinformation for running a rally that had somebody talking that was live streamed off of one of their live streams on YouTube.
Yeah, and what's the misinformation?
Some snowflake got upset because Orange Man bad, probably.
Probably. Okay, Lisa, we'll be here, hon, I think.
Yeah, I see D-Dog over nodding his head. He agreed with that one. Whatever whim they pass along is like, I told one of them today, somebody commented because they were whining back and forth on Facebook about the Johnny Depp thing. And I'm like, you know what? It don't really matter.
I don't understand why they are wasting so much freaking time on that stupid defamation or whatever it is, and they couldn't show nothing of Ghislaine's trial, but they're going to spend weeks of this.
And these eggheads told me, well, a lot of people are concerned men are victims of domestic violence too. And I'm like, I'm all for that. You realize these people are Hollywood and this is all bullshit. I said, the stuff they do and the stuff they do, we don't matter, but you guys put them on a pedestal, and this could all be just bullshit show trying to block something else.
Right? They spend weeks and weeks of this bull crap on Johnny Depp and whatever her name is, but they couldn't show you any of the Ghislaine thing, or
Nope.
yeah, that's unbelievable.
It's like I know a couple people like D-Dog might have heard about it. A couple people put up some constitutional videos and they got their show kicked off YouTube.
Really?
Yep.
That's the Constitution.
And it was misinformation, what they called it.
Holy. Yeah, well, I played that one because I mentioned it in Roberts that I'd seen it, the video come up today saying that, and it's from his site, like his YouTube channel, saying that he bought YouTube and that he bought Instagram a couple days ago.
Who did, Elon?
Yeah.
Well, he won't be able to buy Instagram because it's owned by Facebook.
Well, I don't.
He'd have to buy the CIA out to get that.
Well, that's why I put the video from his channel. That's why I played it, so that people could see, because it's coming right from his channel. And
well, it wouldn't surprise me
I don't
if
know whether it's yes or it's no, but I think people should be able to hear what he's saying.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a yes or a no about him buying it, But I know that YouTube is getting enough heat from a small group of people that have pens about the internet being public.
Yeah.
It's owned by the public and ran by the public, and we can pull their use of public utility like the internet away from them.
What I don't get is all the disgusting crap that they allow on YouTube, the pornography, the you name it. I mean, every freaking ad that comes up on my phone that has to do with games or dating apps or anything has sexual innuendos all through it.
Right.
And that's just the icing on the cake. There's all the disgusting videos that they allow on their platform that are all sexually targeting kids and all that stuff, but they take down people who are telling truth or giving their opinion on something.
Yeah, but you can put a video about touching babies' dongs or something, they probably let you.
What's the matter, Billy? What's not working?
Yeah, 2 hours ago, MSNBC dropped a 9-minute video. SCOTUS draft opinion to overturn Roe versus Wade is a roadmap to take away rights.
Bullshit.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah. It's to take away their rights, the elites, because of what they use it for.
Oh, for the last 2 years, all we hear is you have to mask up, you have no choice, you have to do it, you have to get the jab, you don't have a choice, you have to do it. And now all of a sudden it's my body, my choice, and that's fine again.
Yeah, but only for
So
that
if you're doing
situation.
murder, it's okay, but you know nothing else matters.
That's all part of killing the next generation. They want that.
Right, I seen Hank posted on his community page on God's Soldiers. He posted a picture of a baby that was ultrasound picture, the way the baby was sleeping in the mom's womb, and then the picture of the baby born outside and almost the identical position that he was sleeping that the baby was sleeping in inside. And he says, "You tell me the difference. How is this one okay and that one is not a life? This one is a life and that one's not, even though they were identical and one was ultrasound from when the baby was in the womb and one was after the baby was born."
So
I want to know.
let's take
Go ahead.
that one word life and let's make it to the simplest possible definition anyone could ever come up with, which actually comes from 500 BC. Life is being active. Okay, it has nothing to do with nothing else.
Yeah.
Life is being active. You even look in any dictionary, life, you break it down to simple components, it still says is being active. It may find out a 20,000 word way to say life is being active, but that's what it says. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with being conscious or aware of surroundings or anything. It just has to do with being active.
Right. And I think they said after 16 days or 28 days the fetus has a heartbeat.
Yeah, but as soon as the cell splits, that's activity, right?
Right.
It's already moving.
Yeah. And he put up that picture of the two and he says, "You tell me how this is life and this is not."
I got
Well,
into it with one the other day about if I leave my house right now and I go turn left, go down here at the stop sign and turn left again, and I get in an accident and there's a pregnant woman driving, and if it's my fault and her baby dies, I get vehicular manslaughter.
Right. Exactly. But it's
And it
okay
don't
for
matter
them.
what stage she is.
Yeah. And see, that was another thing that I can't remember who was saying it, but I think it might have been on one of the things Hawk was showing. That the first fetal stem cell research was in Ukraine, and like there's, I think they said 7 or 8 different fetal stem cell type labs in the Ukraine. They were the first in the world, all of them, and they're the most popular. And one of them has to do with age. This was making a serum for age, which I'm pretty sure is the party substance. You know, the chrome that has the adreno part.
Mm-hmm.
But all of them, first ever and biggest labs, all in the Ukraine.
Yeah, and
They were all-
whenever you look at the different byproducts having to do with the meats you buy at your
Yeah,
fast food places, it tells you what it is, and then it has a small quantity of other. If
yeah,
you actually found out what other is, it also includes fetuses.
yeah. And natural flavoring. That's another one that it falls under. And red food dye. Oh, I forget who had that. That was like 8 months ago. I saw that. The red food dye in yogurt, if it lists it by like the actual name of it, starts with a C. I think it's like 5 letters long or something. But if you look it up in the ingredients, it's C something. It's like 5 letters long, and it's the name of this red dye, and it's made from those cells as well. And they're putting that in your freaking yogurt. So anything they're putting that red dye in, that's what it is. That's disgusting.
Looks like Chuck's in thought.
I'm trying to find something to send her a picture.
Moving to Montana soon. See, now that's a pretty state. I've seen lots of Montana. And I mean, there's not a lot of people there, but it's pretty.
Yeah, Billy, you have to listen to Frank Zappa's song about Montana before you move, though.
What are you eating now?
I'm eating healthy. I have fish.
Oh, there they are, the Swedish fish.
I have fish. Yep, I was sitting at the desk the other day, and I had the pole and the hook and everything in the bag, and none of them bit. I guess I just didn't have the right bait.
It's gonna go and grow
Here
some
you
of
go,
this.
Brenda. Here's a picture for you.
Okay. Yeah, I seen this one. That's definitely him. The little queer bait. I don't understand how his there's been like 4 of his pedo buddies arrested already, so I don't understand how he hasn't been, because he was involved in the same stuff they were.
I'm gonna make D-Dog's day. I'm gonna put his favorite background up.
I love that flag because it'll piss off so many people. I've been trying to find a place where I can buy that, and nobody has it.
You'll maybe have to get one of your buddies to make it for you, like the one who makes your crayons.
I bet Carl could make it.
Yeah, Camel could make it. I'll bet he could.
I have a buddy that works at a tarp factory, and they've made me a couple custom flags. Maybe I'll see if they want to take that on.
Yeah.
It don't miss a whole lot. There's a couple more you could add things that could add to it to piss a few more off.
Chuck, I'll have to get. It won't be tonight by any means, but I'll have to get you tomorrow or maybe the next day. Give me a hand breaking down all the stuff I got out of the rally tonight. I got 2 pages.
Uh, tomorrow, what's her name supposed to show that 2,000 mules? Michelle is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
Yep.
it's on BitChute too, right? There's somebody's got it out on BitChute.
yeah. I can't remember who it was. Trump was supposed to play it tonight. I heard, but I don't know if he did.
No, he didn't. He did show a collage of Potato being a doofus though. All of his, he goes, the thing. Oh, never mind, he says.
Yeah.
And that's the guy who's supposedly the resident that's running. Yeah, okay.
I thought it was funny when he said he's going to be running for 2024.
Yeah. I thought it was funny when he called Obama the president and that he was the vice president, or that Jill was vice president. That was
Right.
good.
You remember when Obama said that best president he could be had would be sitting in the basement controlling somebody else.
Yeah.
Yep.
And somebody, I can't remember who it was, somebody said back when near the beginning of his placement in the fake office that they had pictures or they'd taken a screenshot or something of Jill having extra parts in her dress as well.
Who knows? Well, I seen I don't know if it's factual, but actual death certificate for Bill Gates and his wife from 2014.
And
And
see,
if you look at Bill Gates now and back before 2014, it's not the same person.
Nope.
No, and if you look on Ancestry.com, it lists both Bill and Melinda as deceased in 2013.
Supposedly the government over got a hold of them for killing all them little girls and giving them polio and sterilizing them.
In South Africa, right?
Yeah, South Africa and India or something.
Yeah, they gave out, what, 90 million doses and it killed 75 million people.
And then sterilized a bunch and caused a bunch of other stuff.
And they said they think it causes that shedding or whatever, where it's affected people that are around them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that was another thing my eldest thinks that I have it in for her or I hate her or whatever. That could never happen. I will never, ever not love my kids, but I was really disappointed when she told me that she lied to me and that she went and had two of the pokes. Because I fought since they were babies. Like, I didn't know when they were first born that I could refuse them. But before they entered JK, I had exemptions on file at the school for all 3 of them. Since they were in JK. That's how long I've been fighting against just the regular approved ones.
Right.
And I said, how you could volunteer to put an experimental one in you, I said, it breaks my heart. I said, I don't love you any less, but it upset me. I was disappointed that because you knew how long I've had these exemptions on file. And why would you put something experimental in you when you know how hard I fought against the ones that were supposedly approved because of all the damage that they did?
My daughter took off to Florida and got them done, and she told her mom that she could just stay. That reason she left is a lot of the way things are, and she just couldn't stand being close by and watching me brainwash Vicky into voting for Trump and believing his shit. That I was controlling her, and she had such a bad opinion of me. And that little girl. I thought the world of her. She's my daughter, my baby.
Right? Like that's what I tried to tell mine. You were my firstborn. You were my first miracle. And I said, and God had everything to do with it and my faith in him. Because 3 different doctors told me I wasn't going to have any kids because of all the scar tissue from 3 different specialist hospitals. And then the fella who was number 2 in Canada for treating endometriosis, after he got the reports back, he says, well, we really need to do a hysterectomy so that you don't have to deal with this anymore. And I said, nuh-uh, ain't happening. He goes, well, you can't have kids, so why would you continue going through this? I said, because God put these parts in my body for a reason. And I believe that there's another way. I tried everything in short of doing in vitro because I couldn't afford it. But we tried everything else under the sun, tried for 7 years. After those 3 doctors told me it wasn't happening, I gave up. And as soon as I gave up, I got one for each doctor that told me I wasn't getting any.
So you
And
tried everything just short of a vitro?
yeah,
Did you
because in
try
vitro,
scanning your head?
we tried it all, D-Dog. But I mean, in vitro here, it was 3,500 for the first try and 5,000 for every try after. And it's not covered by anything. I mean, our so-called amazing healthcare system, that went right down the toilet back when McGinty and Wynn were in. And there's another one, Wynn. What a flake she is. But they trashed what medical system we had so that almost next to nothing was covered, but you're still paying through the nose anyways for
They don't
this.
cover anything, and you got to have it.
Yeah, but like I've tried to tell her, like it was just the fact that she knew I'm fighting cancer. She knows I've been fighting it with everything I have. And she went and willingly put that in her body, knowing about the reports of shedding and stuff, whether she believes it or not. That worried me that I would make things harder for me detoxing this. And I wonder whether the last 3 months that have been more difficult, whether it's because of that or whether it's just because I'm getting down to the very end of it. Because I truly believe that, like, from the day I was diagnosed, the day I looked him in the face and said no, I never once ever has it ever crossed my mind that I wouldn't beat this. And they told me that if I didn't do the aggressive chemo and the aggressive radiation 6 times a week for 6 weeks, that I had 2 months left. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it, because this is 3.5 years later, and I've been doing it all with God and natural substances.
And George is fighting his with stuff that he makes with cannabis.
Well, see, and that's the thing too. I make my own RSO, but it's nowhere near as good as stuff like Hawk makes or those people, because I just don't have A, the product, or B, the the
Fundage.
yeah, because he does his with distills with alcohol and stuff, and I have a really hard time with the stuff that's with alcohol. I don't know what it is. It doesn't sit right. And so I make mine with coconut oil or MCT oil, and I just use my oil and butter machine, and I make it with that. So it's nowhere near as potent. So I just have to pray that God puts a little bit extra on it each time I make a batch. And I mean, I'm 3.5 years past their 2 months, so and I don't see an end in sight. But she's like, something happened when I was diagnosed. It was like it was the straw that broke the camel's back when it came to my kids. Because before I was diagnosed, they'd lost a bunch of people, and to date, in the last 7 years, they've lost 17 people. And when I got sick, it was almost like they lost their faith in God, they lost their faith in everything, and they just sort of stepped away. And when my parents got sick, the first thing I did was everything I could to help them. And they saw me care for my mom first and then for my dad, because it was the right thing to do. My parents had my back their whole lives. They raised me, they were always there even when I was an adult, and they deserved to go with dignity. That's the way I look at it. And when I had to start looking after my dad, he had late stage 2 Alzheimer's and dementia. And that was pretty taxing. Like, I mean, dealing with the VON who would cancel. And then when it came down to the point where he needed 24-hour care and I was doing it 2 or 3 days in a row, and then they would cancel, and I'd say, look, you can call someone else that you gave service to the last 2 days, and you can tell them to wait, because I can't do this 24 hours a day. And you're supposed to be here at night to help him, because he'd get up in the middle of the night, and oh my God, they put him on hydromorph. Oh, he turned into a raving maniac when they put him on that. Like, he was trying to kick doors down, and he said, "This isn't my stuff. That's not my room." And oh, so I looked after him from 2012 until January 2019, and then I was diagnosed in November of 2018. And it was just like one thing on top of another. So I just haven't ever, since day one, thought that I wasn't gonna do anything except beat this.
Yeah, my daughter, I don't know if she's had all three or just two of them, but since this last one, she was talking to my wife here a while back, said she's been sickly ever since. My wife got real upset and told her, "I tried to tell you this." She goes, "Well, Mom, just some things are just hard to believe." And I'm like, and she told her, it's like, you just went and took something foreign into your body that it's experimental and it hasn't been tried and true. It usually takes 10 years, if they're not a crooked place, to go through the trials of all this. And you just took it.
Yeah.
You say your father's twisted and tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist and all that. No, he's just well guarded and he knows stupidity and bullshit. He could show you guys a pile of paperwork on how wrong something is, but if one of your friends your age tells you that I'm wrong, and no matter what he has to support it, you're going to automatically believe somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, that's stupidity at its core. you doubt him, and all he does is try to tell you these things for your own safety. He's not trying to do anything bad to you, and take it like it is. She said, your dad loves you, I love you. You might think your dad's a disappointment to you, but just look at what a disappointment you probably are to him. He'd never admit it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I love her more than she will ever understand, and she just doesn't get that. And she's having all kinds of health issues, and I just keep praying for her every day and praying that it's not. Hey, Monty. Praying that it's not what she put in her body that's doing this, and praying that whatever is there will be washed clean, because man, that would be the ultimate heartbreak if that starts eating away. I mean, these people wanted to hide the documentation on it for 75 years.
Yep.
That should tell people something right there.
It's like the shit with Kennedy. Anytime they want to put stuff and hide stuff away from people, there's reasons for it. It's not
Right,
everything
yeah.
should be available to be seen and read, but don't ask questions you don't want the answers to. The philosophy to look at.
Yeah, that was my famous saying when we'd go anywhere. Don't ask me something if you don't want me the truth. That my dad would get so embarrassed, and I said, you only have yourself to thank for it, because you're the one who taught me to tell the truth. Yeah, but I said, no. If people can, oh, we lost you, Doug.
Yeah, probably said he had to go.
Yeah, he
Thanks.
had to go. It's pretty late for him, and he's got a lot of stuff going on in the morning. I couldn't believe that he was in a van 3 weeks ago that was rolled over. I was like blown away.
I think I heard something about that.
And see, I missed all this stuff because I've been so in and out of it for the last 3 or 4 weeks, just especially the last 2 weeks, just barely making it to any streams. And those that I could, I either made it there for a little bit and fell asleep in the stream, or I was just too wiped to even do anything but listen. But like, she's got all these health problems, and I'm just scared for her. I'm not angry at her, I'm scared for her. And I'm still worried about whether it's going to have any effect on me, because I'm fighting this as hard as I can, and I don't need any more issues to deal with.
Did you do some looking into that? What I told you about that the Ivor works for? Let me see if I got that link. I just dropped a link on a video that George gave me the other day. I don't know if you've seen it or not, with the monkeys being controlled by cell phone playing Pong and stuff.
Oh, you mean the stuff that was on the NIH website? I went
That
to see.
stuff I told you about.
Yeah,
All right, yeah, I gave it to you.
yeah, and I think Hawk listed it too. And yeah, I read a bunch of the stuff that it cures and how long they've known about it. Oh man.
Yeah, they don't want cures. They want
Well,
people.
no, because that's not profitable.
Yeah.
So anything, like, as soon as they found out about what cannabis could do, that's when they banned it, made it illegal, because they knew.
Yeah, I drink lemon water. Try to drink 2 or 3 bottles of it a day, but I take that other Ivor every now and then. I need to make another batch of the hydroxy stuff.
Yeah.
All that stuff. If you put your body in a neutral state,
Yeah, make it alkaline.
yeah,
I think.
nothing can grow, and everything's considered a parasite, even cancer.
Yep. And if you can get your pH level to above 7, then no infections and parasites can live in that.
Yeah. which they say it's hard to do, but I guess if you lived on a diet of a lot of neutral or better alkaline type stuff, that you
Yeah.
could get there.
Hey,
But lemon
Monty, you're
juice,
welcome
the
to
thing
come up
about
if
lemon
you want.
juice, it starts out as an acid and turns into an alkaline.
Yeah, I dropped the link there, Monty, if you want to come up. If not, if you just want to hang out and chat, that's cool.
I hear your werewolf every now and then.
What's that?
I hear your fan, your little werewolf, I call it. Sound like a little werewolf howls every now and then.
Yeah, my 2007 Toshiba. Protesting. Yeah, D-Dog said he had to go. Well, he's got a lot of, like he said, his phone's going to start ringing, and then it's going to ring again in the morning, and I like what he says about how many cameras he's got on his vehicle, and I like that automated chicken tractor. That's cool.
Yeah.
Hey Monty, you'd be so proud of me. I was able to play a video tonight with sound and not kick myself out.
He had a buddy put a post up here, and he's talking about, you remember when the movie Black Panther come out? It says, Black Panther is a gorgeous, groundbreaking celebration of black culture.
Yeah.
And then it's talking about the Northmen that knew when they come out about the Norse and the Vikings or what have you. Comment against it now is the Norse code. Are white supremacists reading too much into the Northmen?
Wow.
If you're not if you're non-white, I guess you'd say everything's okay. But it's like all those other cultures. I'm proud to be Asian. I'm proud to be whatever. You say you're proud to be white, you're a racist.
Right. That's their another one of their new spins. They've successfully managed to eliminate millions and millions of other ethnicities, and now they want to target the white people. Yeah,
I
so
sent a couple of videos of some people on TikTok, and they were talking about white people are so crooked they even stole slavery from the Spanish.
yeah, sure they did. They need to go back and check way back in the history to who really started the slavery and who fought to keep it
No
and who
matter what
started.
lineage you are, your lineage somewhere in history and still possibly could be slavery somewhere.
Yeah, and go back and look at the who started the Planned Parenthood.
And that
Yeah.
all that is to kill off generations.
Yep. And they're always put in low income areas for very specific reasons. Well, I think, Chuck, I'm going to shut it down, and maybe tomorrow or another night we can break.
Yeah, I might pop one tomorrow. I haven't done one or two this week, so
I got a bunch of stuff. I just need someone to help me. Like I can tell you what you need to put into the gematria, and I only ever use the simple gematria. I don't use the English or the English. I use the simple only. And then I go from there with the number to the drops.
that'd be something you might want to talk to Robert. I think Robert would get into that if he understood it.
Yeah, but you saw how long it took us the other time when it was you, me, and Slow Country and Remote, because one was doing the gematria and I was giving you the what to put in there, and then once you got that number, then go to the drops, and then it was mirror the drops. And when we started mirroring them, which we hadn't been doing for a while, we got a bunch.
Yeah, with that mirroring, and then it also said if it's any number, it's in that 3-number combination. I'm like, that's a little stretching a little too far.
Yeah, I only ever, like, we started mirroring, so if it was 230 or 234, then we would do 432.
But if you start mixing every number in it, everything will make sense and nothing will make sense.
We didn't do too bad when we were just going with the number that we got, and then we'd go to the post, and then we'd see if there were any of the connections, like Dave Snedeker finds connections in the blue timestamps at the top.
Yeah.
But mostly we were just doing the actual drop number and then mirroring it. But
All right,
anywho,
well, I'll get off here and I'll holler at you later.
okay, Chuck, have a good night.
Much love.
Thank you,
Y'all have a
thank
great
you,
night.
thank you everybody for coming. I just want to say a quick prayer for Remote before we go. Heavenly Father, I don't know if that person that sent him that mail was deliberately trying to harm him or they just are clueless. But I ask you to put your arms around him and lift him up and wash whatever chemicals are in his body and making him sick from him. Lift him up and heal him and protect him for all the evil that's trying to hurt God's children. And I ask you to wash him in the blood of the Lamb. In your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
I'm just wondering if it's something that did he find residue on something or
No, he could smell it. It was coated in some kind of scent, and like he can't handle deodorant, soap, laundry detergent, anything that has fragrance in it, he gets really sick.
I wonder if it's some kind of reactive plan that they had. 'Cause he said they just put a whole bunch of them weird lights around him. Now he gets something like this. I'm just wondering if it's something that worked with that.
Yeah, and the weird thing was, Chuck, it didn't say his name, it just said to my neighbor. That's what was on the envelope. So that's kind of scary if it's someone who lives close to him. If
I
they
want
did
to
it on
some
purpose.
kind of chain letter that they're sending out to certain.
But like he said, he doesn't even go and visit his mom anymore because it's a super long journey because she lives in BC and lives with his sister, and his sister can't be bothered to descent her home so that her brother could visit. And she knows how sensitive, how sick he gets, right? But
Yeah,
she can't.
they'd tell me basically like, we don't want you around here because you're an inconvenience.
Well, and see, that's what Remote said. He said, I can't make that kind of a journey and not be able to go in and see my mom and visit. So I just pray that he's feeling better soon. And pray that everybody's feeling better. Like so many people. Prayers for Lisa. She's been in, you guys have all been in the targeted just about every one of these monster storms.
Yeah, they've been hammering here.
Yeah, it's just like never ending, non-stop. They just keep rolling up there like it's a highway.
Yeah, I told Bonnie earlier, I've noticed by looking, and I heard somewhere one of the places I was at that they're using those weather control. They're mobile, but there's something going on. Somebody was talking about it. Like you go due south, like the border of Mexico and New Mexico, close to their coast. Something's these storms are appearing below Baja, and they're really screwed up, strong storms, and they've worked their way across up through here.
Well, isn't there one of those facilities down there?
I think so, but you know that they got a mobile now. They can fit them in a U-Haul sized truck.
Get out of town.
Mm-hmm. I got informed that here about a month ago from a buddy of mine. Military shit.
Like we're talking about the same thing, right? Like the HAARP.
Yep, yep.
Wow. Because I know in one of the countries, the people went up and just started destroying the facility.
I think it was Brazil or somewhere. They ripped the fence down and went in there, and like 200 people just destroyed it.
Yeah,
Forced
and
the building open, was ripping the computers and just smashing them and tearing down them looked like solar arrays.
yeah, and like last I heard, so this is probably about 2 or 3 years ago, maybe longer, because it was when Jesse Ventura was all against him, and he was doing his investigative reports, trying to get in there, trying to get the truth, and that was like got to be 10 or 15 years ago, and that was the one in Alaska that he was talking about.
Yeah, I remember when that certain lady would meet him. She'd fly in, they'd meet and talk at the airport. She'd fly out and he'd fly out because neither one wanted to stay anywhere too long when they were
Yeah,
doing that.
but he was big against that. Jesse Ventura was.
Is he still around? I don't even remember.
I think he is. I think he was like, and I mean, every talk that I've ever seen him do, and he's coming out both barrels against everything that they're doing wrong.
Seemed kind of like about 5 years after that, he kind of shut up. I
Right?
don't think.
And the weather, that's right. Billy says on the weatherman still gets it wrong, and they're making it. Yeah. And these people, they put out a 10-day forecast, and the forecast that they have for tomorrow changes in like 4 hours to totally opposite of what was in the 10-day forecast. And it's only 24 hours.
And this
So
shit
if it
appeared
changes
out of
that
nowhere.
fast in 24 hours when they're given a 10-day report, really?
It appears out of nowhere.
Yeah, just it just materializes. Well, anyways, I'm going to thank you all for joining me tonight and hanging out with me. I'm sorry I'm not on more regular, but I got a lot of stuff going on from all angles. And if anybody's able to share my link, I'd appreciate it. Any help is appreciated.
Yeah, I tell them to share away and anybody they want, or they can come on mine and share it. But Lisa and Shift and all them, I think they got a list that they share.
Yeah, and I try to share Lisa's whenever I'm on, which hasn't been much lately, but I try and share hers because, gosh, that girl's been in the bullseye of these storms for just about every one of them.
Well, hell, I'm gonna get off here. You have a good night. Good talking to you.
Okay, everybody have a good night. Thanks for joining me. I really
Much.
appreciate it. Have a good one. Say goodnight to Vicky for me. Lisa Anderson, Bill. She had a bunch of storm damage done to her house, and then she just keeps getting hit with storm after storm after storm. And then they had shelter in place order, I think, because of tornadoes again tonight. Anyways, thank you everybody. Say goodnight to Vicky for me. Good night, Lisa, Shift Kicker, everybody that came and joined me. Devil Dog, Monty, Billy. I appreciate y'all coming. I'll try and do another show tomorrow if I can stay awake. I'm trying my hardest. I just get exhausted too fast. Okay, everybody, have a great night. Thank you.